Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Brian Brooks, here with the host, the mastermind behind this thing that we do, Nick Moore. Nick, how you doing?
Brooks, I'm doing good. The end of an interminable international break is almost upon us, and you know what that means. It is return to FPL action and the F65 challenge. What's up?
It is a beautiful day in Madison. We're coming to you from a pre-recorded location in Phil's basement, I think. I'm not really sure where we are. The backgrounds might
Yep.
look the same, but my mind is not here.
Yeah,
Um,
we're in Phil's basement and we're in different rooms, even
yep,
though they look the same as always.
yep.
So,
Phil, you've done a great job recreating the studio. Nick, what are we here to talk about?
well, as I alluded to, the return of FPL is upon us. And as we mentioned in our original show, with the schedule out, it is getting time to jump into pool play. Not quite yet, but it is time for the group drawing, right? So this is kind of the first big event, big movement towards the conclusion of the F65 challenge this year. And some point today, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be drawing those groups for you.
But
So
first, what do we got?
the palpable, yeah. You know what? I was thinking about this on the way over here, Phil's basement, that is, that we need to do a live show. So maybe next year, the group drawing can be a live
Mm.
show. We'll put a pin in that for now, but one of these days, we'll get a live show on here. But yeah, before we get rolling, we do have one little housekeeping item. There are two members of the crew that have yet to pay their dues. You know who you are. I've been in contact with you. So just, just do that. Just pay your dues.
Pay the man.
Pay the man. Um, but don't want to, linger too long on that. There's happier things afoot, Brooks. But before we get to the group draw, maybe we should check in on the league standings.
Yes, couldn't have done a better segue myself. Speaking of happier things, looking over at the league, Nick, I don't have my reading glasses on. Who is that in first place?
I'm pretty sure it's Tank Thomas Frank, the Tank Engine, or something like that. But he's got a new name.
No, yeah. I finally got in contact with the FPL League. I was able to change my name. They didn't like the Hilly Dicks, and we were able to change it for Moyes to Men. I'm flying high. Wish the international break had not come. When it does, it's always a downer when you get the season going, and then it just stops. And then Germany loses the first away Euro qualifying, World Cup qualifying game ever. It's a
Wow.
downer.
Well, Brooks, at least you got that $4 extra in your pocket and a 4 point gap at the top of the table through 3 weeks.
I've
Right
already
behind you, though, is a couple of newcomers to the league.
Yeah, I've already tied my season winnings from last year. So like I said, we're riding high. But yeah, Klopp's Veneers, top of the cop, and the Dune Sharks 234. A mainstay in Bogart there, but yeah, Travis and Nate doing pretty well. If I scroll down a little bit farther, we've got a bunch of green arrows. We've got Nick, yourself, we've got Jacob Waltz, we've got Phil Your Boots, and Andrew in United filling out the upper. I guess this would be mid table with the group that we have.
Yeah, this I think would be the mid table here early on. And, I don't know if we need to regale everybody with every name on the list, but it is a pretty tight, obviously we're only 3 weeks in, not a big gap here in that, what do you want to call it, the meaty middle, kind of from Jacob Waltz all the way down to Adam Carlson. They're only about 20, 25 points in between those 8 places. So still early going, but got some strong squads out there.
Yep. So that's enough for a league check-in. I'm not gonna gloat too much. We're gonna get right into it, Nick. We're gonna get to the
Well,
drawing.
well, before we get to the drawing, I wanted to do a quick recap on the Battle Royale because this was the first year we've ever done this before. So the quick recap is all the new people in the league go into the Battle Royale if necessary, if there's more people than spots. And this is the first time we've had to do that. So we do have, we unfortunately have to say goodbye to our first contestant, Steve. We barely know you, but better luck next year in the F65 challenge. Don't forget, we still got the league, we still got the cup, plenty of ways to win, but unfortunately, you are not going to be battling it out in the challenge. That said, I don't think we had anybody take over the Battle Royale. You can see here on the little graphic that the pink column indicates who was in first place for the Battle Royale, and the way the numbers worked out, that is going to be a coveted spot in pot 3. So, Travis Doran, you will end up in pot 3, and you will actually get to take on one of your fellow newcomers, as opposed to the experienced vets that everybody else has to go through.
Not to get ahead of myself, but that makes for, given the current league standings 3 weeks in, that could make for a group of death. We could have the top of, Travis in second place currently in pot 3, Nate's in third place in pot 4. I'm in pot 2. There could be an unlucky pot 1 member, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see exactly how the spins align the world here, but before we say the official goodbye to our new friend Steve, a quick shout out to Jimmy, another longtime league member who I believe is the connection between Steve. Well, Steve, I'm going to offer you an interesting challenge that is only available to you. If you finish the year above your buddy Jimmy in the league, I'm putting up a $20 bounty. So not only do you still have the league to play for, still have the cup, but you've got a one-on-one challenge with Jimmy, and if you can beat him by the end of game week 38, a crisp $20 bill is headed your way.
I wish I knew that was coming, but that's pretty cool. $20. It's a good bounty.
And Jimmy, you get nothing if you beat your buddy Steve. Thanks for inviting to the league. That's all you get.
All right. Well, you can tell I'm ready to go, so we're now going to get into the drawing. We're going to start with pot 1. To recap, that is Newland, Aiden, Jimmy, and Nick. That's you. Can you recap us how we got these 4 contestants in pot 1?
Yeah, absolutely. Here we got Sean Newland. He was the man last year. He was the F65 challenge winner, the inaugural challenge champ. He also took home the FPL Cup last year. So not only did he bag a couple, some silverware, but a nice chunk of change. So that's Newland. Next we have Aiden, who in his second season in the league did take down the league as the league champ. So also he got some silverware and a nice chunk of change. Rounding that out is going to be Jimmy, who was the second place finisher in our F65 challenge last year, and myself, who lost in the cup final to the aforementioned Newland. So that rounds out pot 1 based on last season's success.
All right. And without further ado, we're going to get our first wheel spin here, ladies and gentlemen.
Group A, here we go.
So, again, we're working with some great technology here. We got the wheel spinning. The wheel is spinning. Group A sees Jimmy.
Jimmy Wiesbrock, what is up, buddy? We will get you in there. Welcome to Group A.
All right, Jimmy's been taken off the wheel. We're going to spin again.
And I'm thinking if I would have been better prepared ahead of time, we could have talked about their league standings during this, but that's all right.
Well, we'll recap. I think maybe a recap after pot 2 gets done, we can do a quick look. But we got Newland as our second winner, as our second drawing here.
Newland, welcome to Group B.
Newland
we'll have to see how that plays out.
Nick, Group C.
Boom. I will be winning Group C this year, boys. The gauntlet has been thrown, which leaves our buddy Aiden all by his lonesome so far in Group D. So, pot 1 is empty. It's time to move on to pot 2. And maybe this time, as you're spinning the wheel, when it comes out a name, I can say what happened to these people last year. I don't know. We just kind of get less exciting as the pot qualifications moving forward. So,
oh, what's it gonna be? Oh, that's it. It landed on Bogart.
all right, Michael Bogart is going to be going through Jimmy Wiesbrock here in Group A. Bogart, of course, finished in the league last year in 7th place, which is what put him in pot 2. He also, I believe, beat yourself in the 3rd place game in the F65 challenge last year. So this is a rematch of last year's one of the semifinals last year. Jimmy and Bogart played each other, I believe. So,
all right, we're spinning that wheel, and thanks for bringing up bad memories, Nick.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
It skips over me again, Jacob Waltz.
Jacob, welcome to Group B, where you will be teeing up Mr. Sean Newland. Last year, Jacob finished in 8th place. This despite a late season slide, but he was early on, and maybe even all the way through mid-season, was challenging for a place at the top of the league. So, Jacob, good luck with Mr. Reigning Champ.
Nick, I've spun the wheel already. It's myself in Group C, which then leaves Adam Zingsheim in Group D, I believe.
And of course, that sets up a podcast showdown, a home and away with myself and you. And then down in Group D, we've got Aiden and Zing. That is a nice little Cones derby right there.
Yep. So
Derby.
Just looking here real quick. Looks like we've got Jimmy and Bogart in Group A. Group B is Newland and Jacob Waltz. Yet the podcast derby in Group C. And Group D, some other current Cones players in Adam and Aiden. Some interesting groups.
Yeah, early on, I can't quite put my finger on what's the most intriguing. It seems pretty balanced to me. I would say I think Jimmy and Bogart, just being the semifinal matchup from a year ago in the challenge, is maybe the highlight of the early matchups in terms of performance, historical performance. But storylines abound, Brooks.
Storylines abound. Jacob Waltz did tell me at Summer League that he was going to be taking the season more seriously, so that could be, a Newland Waltz battle could be something to look out for. But we're going to get moving on straight here into pot 3.
All right, we're getting down into those lower coefficient numbers from our super fancy formula.
Tyler, welcome to Group A.
Tyler, my cousin, he finished the league in 10th place last year, and that puts him in pot 3, but he now has the unenviable task, potentially, of facing a couple of semifinalists from last year.
Super unenviable. Jamie, welcome to Group B.
All right, Jamie, who is back for his 4th season, I believe, after a 1-year hiatus. He did finish 12th in the league last year, but he was a returning player. So all of y'all that went into the Battle Royale, you have that to look forward to next year. You come back, you got a place in the pots. But Jamie is going to be facing off with Newland and Jacob Waltz here.
Nick, I think it's happening. We've got Travis in Group C.
All right. Well, we have an early leader in the group of death running up here in Group C. And then, of course, we have the A group in Group D with Adam, Aiden, and Adam. So I'm hoping Andrew Nowak gets put in Group D just so we can really round out that A group.
Well, we're going to see Jacob Grund in Group A.
All right, Twilight, who is all these people are new to the league. He will go into Group A to round that out. He was the last qualifier out of the Battle Royale, so by the skin of his teeth, he's got a chance in Group A.
Andrew into Group B.
Well, the dream of the A group is dead, but Andrew Nowak knows his fate, as he's got to go up against some pretty big hitters there.
It does look like Group C is going to be a all Madison group. It's just a matter of will it be a true group of death or will it be Phil joining us?
Yeah, being in the couple of other leagues with Brooks and Phil, this could be potentially a disaster.
Well, it's Nate. Nate.
All right, the group of death, I think we have found it. So 3 cones and a former cone are going to battle it out, and one of us is not going to make it out. So good luck.
Yeah. So to recap, we're gonna go over Group A. Jimmy Wiesbrock, Michael Boger, Tyler Soth, and Jacob Grund makes out Group A. Group B: Sean Newland, Jacob Waltz, Jamie Quintanilla. Thank you.
You can call him Jelly Quarter for short.
Good old Jelly Roll Quarter, and Andrew Nowak. I think we'll get to this in a moment, but I think early contender for Group of Death, we've got yourself, me, Travis, and Nate. And then rounding out Group D, we've got Aiden, Adam, and Phil. Phil is just ruining the great alliteration there.
Yeah, Phil, I think you really need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Think about what you did.
So, we called there might be a group of death. I think based on this, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 5 in the current. After 3 weeks, it's only 3 weeks, but
it is early goings. But you are correct. 4 of the top 5 teams in the league early on are in the same group. So F65 challenge never disappoints. Nobody said it was going to be easy, and the reward is made that much sweeter when you go through the best.
Do you want to give us? Do you have any quick predictions? Who's going to come out of the group or who might not finish top of their group?
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna put some money on down in Group D. I've got my eye on Aiden and Adam. I don't know who it's gonna be, but one of those two is gonna be my contender for winning it all, based solely on a desire to redeem themselves after last year.
Well,
I know Aiden won the league, but I think he was really eyeing the challenge and kind of fell short. And of course, Zing, one of our biggest supporters here at the pod, I think really looks at the challenge as something he's going to be putting everything into. So I got one of those two. I don't know who it is yet, but that's who I'm backing.
I think Adam Carlson is going to finish second in the group. He's going to follow Arsenal and finishing second, second place, being a runner up there. I don't know who's going to come out of that group. I'd bet a lot of money it's going to be one of the A's, but I do have a feeling that Adam Carlson will finish second. That's my hot take. We'll go in reverse order, looking over at Group C, the group of death. That is you, myself, Travis, and Nate. It feels like it could go either way, Nick.
Yeah, I definitely anticipate that group maybe having some of the lower point totals, maybe even some tiebreakers come into play, just given the early season parity. So we'll have to see how it goes. But whoever finishes third in the group and ends up as the lower ranked seed in the pre-quarters could be a pretty tough out down the road.
I'll save my trash talk for the group, but we might have to have a new segment called Chip Watch. The chips will reset. Maybe people are going to get a little antsy and desperate and be like, I got to use a chip right now. Got to make sure I stay alive in the group. We'll have to see.
Yeah. So I think as we move on to Group B again, which is Newland, Jacob Waltz, Jamie, and Andrew, I think my hot take here is going to be Andrew, who has been paying attention. He's really excited about playing FPL for the first time. I think he's going to get through the group stage in third place, and I
Mm.
think he's going to advance out of the pre-quarters.
Okay.
But no more. You don't want to set the bar too high. But I do think that he's going to cause a few waves. Have a nice challenge to remember on his first try, his inaugural F65 challenge here.
Sticking in Group B, I said it earlier. Jacob Waltz is gonna give it the old college try. I think he's going to be the one to watch for in this group, but we'll have to remain. That will remain to be seen.
I would be remiss if we move on without a nod or a tip of the cap to Mr. Newland, right? He is sort of F65 royalty, but my hot take on him is going to be he continues to do the not win the group, but then once we get into the knockout stages, all bets are off. So good luck.
Or not, you know.
Or not, yeah. Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing him get kicked out either in fourth place. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, that would be nice.
And then Group A, I think this is the most interesting one. It could go a number of ways. I believe Twilight was the last qualification spot, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
So maybe some underdog status there. Maybe playing Twilight's going to be like that trip to Russia or Azerbaijan when you're playing in the Europa Conference League. I don't know, but if I have to send some daily reminders, be like, check your FPL lineup, check your FPL lineup, I'm going to do it. I think Jacob's going to make it out of the group stage. I think the group otherwise is too close to call a winner at this point.
Yeah, I think my early money here would be on Bogert to get out of the group in first place. Although, of course, his history here in F65 is he's got spurts of absolute greatness, and then he kind of falls back to the pack. If you remember last year, he was threatening to run away with the league early, was still in contention, and then had like a 2 or 3 week stretch that really kind of brought him back to the rest of the group. And then, of course, he made it all the way to the semifinals of the challenge. So, he tends to run hot and cold, but I think he's going to catch a hot streak in Group A and get out in first place.
And just a reminder, Tyler, you find yourself in a group with Jimmy. Not only do you have the $20 bounty for feeding Jimmy on, in the league, but
no, that's
you could.
Steve, not Tyler.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I was getting ahead of myself. Tyler, I'm going to call you out though here because since I brought it up, it's on my mind. Keep Jimmy out of the knockouts.
There we go.
So, you know what? Nick, I'm gonna match your enthusiasm because I made a mistake here. Tyler, $10 bounty to you. $10 bounty to you, Tyler, if Jimmy finishes in fourth place. I know that's not totally in your control, but maybe you're gonna be texting Bogert and Twilight to do. Maybe we're gonna get some collusion going on. I don't know, but $10 bounty if Jimmy finishes fourth for Tyler.
Yeah, you can at least do your part, Tyler. Keep Jimmy down. And I mean that's kind of where we're at here. Very excited to get things kicked off here. The groups are set. The stage is ready to be played upon. And as we look to return, I just wanted to give a quick reminder, and we'll send out the email to everybody. But the first week of pool play is game week 5, followed immediately by game week 6. So 2 back-to-back games. We'll have the schedules out here in the next week or so. So get ready to have a return to FPL action, focus on the league, but you've got a little bit of time before rubber hits the road as it pertains to the F65 challenge.
That we do. It's going to be another exciting year, Nick. I think I hear Phil calling from upstairs. I think that means dinner's ready, so we got to get going.
Yeah, I hope he made the casserole.
as long as it's not tater tot hot dish, I think we'll be happy.
He is from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, I'm your host, Brian Brooks. That's Nick Moore, the commish, signing off from Phil's basement. Thanks for watching.
Peace.